Hey everyone, happy Saturday night. And tonight I'm going to talk about this Summit Replica mock-up block that I bought back in October and put together. And I got a chance to use it, and I'd like to discuss the parts I really like about it and a couple of parts I didn't like about it. And I was the first person to do the first two customer reviews for Summit after buying it, and I told him that I would have given this thing 5 stars if they would have made a couple things quite clear in the first place. The first one was it didn't come with instructions. You had to go online and look a video up to watch two guys put one together, and it was an okay job, but they forgot to do one part of assembly that just completely ruined it. And I'll show that to you right now. Okay, right down here, you see where the fuel pump mounts. You have to bend this because it comes as one flat plate, and when you put it together you bend all these tabs to keep it in place. Well, what they didn't do at Summit was show you to bend the flange for the fuel pump in place and then finish completing it. When they completed theirs in the instruction video, they left this sticking out, and I pointed that out to them. That was not good, because once you do all this, bend these tabs over, and it's assembled, you can't go back and rebend them because they'll break. I mean, it's just a one-time deal. I tried to bend it a little bit, and I mean, I am a tool and die maker by trade, so I know a little bit about working with metal, and that I knew it wasn't going to work. So so one tab started to break off a little bit. I left it alone, so now I got to tack weld that in place if I want it to have any kind of integrity there. So some other points about it that are good is that it's light. It's about 23 pounds put together, and you can lift it in and out with no problem. Before, I used a Bear 307 small block, which was quite heavy. I mean, you're talking probably close to 200 pounds, compared to this. This makes engine work easier. And this also comes with the hardware for the exhaust, intake, water pump, down here for the see if I can get in there, for the oil pan holes, and just about everything you need to start bolting things together. Right here it kinked a little bit at the engine mount where I tightened it down. It's not a big deal. I just wanted to point that out just in case anybody sees that on the video. And another thing that I noticed, that I had a really bad whoops, and I'm going to demonstrate that so other people, I wouldn't say it's a really bad whoops, but you can see it right here when I was playing around with it, trying to get everything setting where I want it. I had a cast iron water pump, a long style cast iron water pump, mounted to the front, and this isn't welded yet. This rotates, and then I have the back on a jack, because I want to get this settled and situated first, and get this on the right angle before I finish welding the engine mount in the front here. But I'm going to get to work and show you how convenient this can be. And I wish I would have had these like 30 years ago. Would have made things a lot easier. Okay, I'm back, and I'm going to start with putting a set of headers on here and show you how convenient it is. I have a set of headers here from a Corvette Stingray that I've never used, and I wanted to see how these work on a T. It would work fine, except for they're a little bit long this way, and they're kind of close to the ground once I get them on. But I can demonstrate that as soon as I finish up here. But here they send you the hardware for your exhaust system to mount it to the side of the dummy block here. And in this situation, you don't have to bolt every single part of the flange down. You can just use one on the end, one in the middle, and one on the opposite end. And I found that worked just fine. But Summit does provide enough hardware to use all the bolt holes. Okay, there. That side's on. Set my ratchet down. So there's a header install. And down at the bottom there, you can see that Corvette header is a little close. I guess if you just drove on flat roads, you might be able to get away with that and you weren't hitting too many bumps. But it's a little close for comfort for me. So now we're going to do the water pump. First I'm going to put on the cast iron long water pump. And the screws that come in from Summit, they're for the long water pump. The short style water pump uses 3 screws that are the same length as the long style water pump, except for one, and one has to be about maybe a ½ inch longer. We'll get to that in a little bit, but first I'm going to put this long water pump on and show you how convenient it is to use this Summit replica block to do a mock-up and check your clearances when you're starting from scratch and making sure everything fits in your engine bay. So here we go. Okay, here's the hardware that comes for the water pump. These are they're 5/16 18, but don't hold me to that. I'm not promising it, but they're 2 inches long for the long style water pump, and 3 of these work fine for the short style, but as we'll see in a little bit that you need one slightly longer for that. And when you're doing an engine mock-up, it's not really important that you have all the screws in unless you want to check clearances around pulleys and stuff like that. Then it becomes important. But let's get started with the cast iron water pump. I was really surprised at how well everything lined up. Summit claims that everything is laser cut and measured when they make these sheet metal things, and they really are. The accuracy really was, I was pleased with it. I'm just going to put 2 screws in here for the demonstration. There's really no need to put all 4 of them in for this. And just make your finger tight so it's not falling off. But there was one thing that yeah, stupid me. I didn't realize when you know, I was taking this apart, and I took the intake off, I took the exhaust manifold off, or not the exhaust manifold, the header, excuse me, and I had this weight hanging on the end, and this thing did one of those numbers, if you can see, right into my radiator. And so now I got to take my radiator to the shop and get it checked and get the fins straightened back out. But you know what, if that's the worst that happens, I think we'll be all right. Put the intake manifold back on. Okay, this is a early style manifold that fits small block Chevys up to 86. It's an old wind, but you got to see there that right in there, some of those, well, none of the screw holes line up, clearance holes for the screws. There's a little ledge right here at the front, right there. You'll have to grind that down with a grinder or a disc sander to get them to line up enough to get, you know, your screws in there. But there's more than enough for bolt and intake manifolds too. And you have little cutouts here that are nice and deburred so you don't cut yourself, so you can use them as handles like that, so you can smack your water pump into the radiator. Yeah, despicable me, what the hell. And in the rear they have bolt pattern for the bell housing, and they also have the mount, which isn't on yet, for the that's for the starter, and I'll put that on last. Also, yeah, the hardware comes for the starter too, but I do find that this is really convenient to you know, do a mock-up before I put an engine in. You know, there's a lot of work you can get done. You can practically get everything from fuel lines to your exhaust system to your you can bolt a transmission up to it, but you can't let a transmission hang to it. I mean, it's just not going to support the weight. Remember, this is just 80 thousandths thick sheet metal. It's mild steel, so it can easily be modified any way you want it, and you can weld on it easily if you need to make if you want to make modifications. And like right here, if you can see that, where I was telling you before, where they didn't show bending the fuel pump flange in place at assembly in their video, you know, I got to weld that in place now. I got to tack weld that. So, that's a job for another day. Overall, I'm very happy with it. You know, I would, sorry about that. That scared the hell out of me. I would definitely recommend it to anybody who is going to be doing a lot of work, like engine swaps and mock-ups. It's just going to save your back, possibly save your fingers. Getting your fingers pinched in between heavy cast iron blocks and stuff like that is just no fun. But anyways, I'm going to just show you how easy this thing is to get in and out. So, be right back with you. All right. Let's get this whole thing out of the way. Oh, by the way, that air compressor you heard in the background is a little Cobalt pancake compressor. And I just got it today. They were on sale at Lowe's for $99 a piece. And I think normally they're like around 140. So it's a good deal. I took advantage of it. So that was, if you can run out and if you can find any more. I know there wasn't many left when I got to them. So just an FYI. Wait a minute, let's unplug this thing first before I get killed by it. Get out of my way, please. Normally I would be using gloves working anything made of sheet metal, but this thing, I've already been used it enough, and if there was any sharp edges, I'd already taken off of the file. And they did a really good job deburring it. God. Cast iron water pumps, cast iron heads, cast iron intakes, they all suck. Thank God for aluminum, right? that's killing me. Okay, there it is. You can store this on a shelf somewhere out of the way, and you know it only weighs less than 25 pounds. I mean, I can, well, I definitely don't want to beat my headlight up with it, but you can just sit it right back in there. One man operation. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and bolt this back in, and we're going to put the aluminum water pump on, which is a short style, and see how much more clearance that gives me. Wrong way, Jackson. Gotta let some steam build up in the compressor. Okay, here's our short aluminum water pump from Speedway. It's made by AFCO. Part number 106890. In case you're interested. Let's see what kind of clearance this gives us compared to the long style. Okay, and here was what I was saying about the short pump. There's one clearance hole that needs a longer screw, and that's down here, the bottom right hand side. So, but I have a hardware kit for the short pump, and since this is aluminum, we're going to put washers on. Well, wait a minute, or not, so it won't fit. Okay, we're just going to put washers on the back side. We're just not going to over tighten it. I'm just gonna put 2 screws in. Just snug it up finger tight. That should give me an idea of how much I'm gaining with the short style pump. I don't need to get too creative with it. What's going to be nice about this pump is that casting looks like that'll clean up nice. If I want to polish it, it doesn't look like rough or anything. It's I'm really pleased with most of Speedway's products so far. And let's take a look. Okay, there's the clearance with the room I gained with the short pump. Let's see what would have happened this time. Oh my gosh, you know what, guys? If I wouldn't have had that cast iron thing on there, that long pump, I would have missed that radiator completely. Son of a gun. But you know what? That's just the way it would go. Okay, now I guess you guys can let me have it in the comment section. I earned it. Just don't beat me up too bad. I'm really a nice guy, believe it or not. But anyways, that's the Summit replica block. What I like about it, what I didn't like about it, and what I like about aluminum short water pumps over long cast iron water pumps. It's pretty self-explanatory right there. Next is we're going to get the engine mount in the position I want it before we weld it. We're going to make radiator mounts for the front, connect it right to the frame. We're going to get these support rods. These are stainless steel support rods that I got from Speedway Automotive. They're a little long because I think they're for, well, they're definitely not for this. This isn't your basic T-bucket. This is a, it's from a Total I bought all this stuff from, I bought the body and the frame from Total Performance. But trust me, it is not a bolt together affair like the 23Ts are. There's quite a bit that's different, you know, lengthwise. You know, the body isn't made by Total Performance. It came from Polyform out in California. And we'll talk about that a little later. I mean, this is a really nice shell body, and I wish Polyform was still in business. If they are, let me know. I can't seem to find anything on them except for stuff that's been out there, you know, stuff that's been on the internet for a long time. And I had the pleasure to talk with Bill Williams, the founder of Polyform, back in the 1990s when I started this project. I was, you know, the man liked to talk about his business and how he got started. He was a very pleasant person to talk to. So hats off to Polyform, and hats off to Total Performance. I don't think I know Total Performance isn't around. They were bought up by Speedway about 15 years ago. So that's where you got to go. And their leftover parts from Total Performance, you know, that stuff's getting dried up too. So everything that I have is over 25 years old, and you know, I'm finally getting to work on this. So if you get a chance, if you're interested, get one of these little Cobalt air compressors for $99 on sale at Lowe's. And thank you for watching the Summit lightweight replica small block Chevy mock-up block. And everybody, as always, be safe, take care, and we'll see you again soon. Happy New Year.